Hey everybody, what's cooking? Today we're going to be taking a look at a great tune by MJ Lenderman. Yet another one. Wristwatch. I'm going to play some of it, then we're going to talk about it. So you say I've got a funny face. Well, it makes me money. So you say I've wasted my life away. Well, I got a beach home up in Buffalo and a wristwatch that's a compass and a cell phone, and a wristwatch that tells me you're all alone. And I still take your amazing grace. And I've give all my money. I'll still take, oh, your pretty face. Well, I got a houseboat docked at the Himbledon and a wristwatch that's a pocket knife and a megaphone, and a wristwatch that tells me I'm all alone. And a wristwatch that tells me I am on my own. Alright. And then there's a whole little solo thing that we can get into later. But anyway, that's the main gist of the tune there. So, what's going on? We are not in standard tuning. We are in, like all the other tracks on this album, Manning Fireworks, drop tuning. So, what you're gonna do is bring your E string down to a D. A becomes G, D becomes C, G becomes F, B becomes A, and E becomes D. And it's a little out of tune, but anyway. So when we're in this tuning, from low to high, we've got D, G, C, F, A, D, as in David. So, what are we doing here? So that riff, that main riff, that great, what got us hooked on it, right? That ba-na-na-na. Okay, so what you're gonna do is basically make a C chord, right? And you can have your guitar just, kind of raw, and that's kind of his style, right? In terms of the amplification and everything like that. But anyway, so you're gonna make that C chord. But the riff is all there on the B string. And I'm just gonna say the B string because, you know, even though it's A, just for my own sanity. Anyway, so what we're gonna do there is make that C chord and then put your pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then you play that. So 3 on the B string, 3, 1, 0, and then take off that middle finger so you can hit that open D string into the next chord, which is E minor. So again, that's then to a minor chord, to a G chord. If you notice too, when I'm playing that G chord, I just got the ring finger down there on the 3rd fret of low E. And I'm using that same finger to mute the A string because you really don't need the full G chord. I mean, you can put your pinky down here and get that too, but especially with the quick changes of these chords, you really just got to think about efficiency, really. And that's all you need there is that root. So again, nice and slow, we've got that C chord shape, that A minor, G, and then back into the riff. Now you can play the riff with your ring finger still on that 3rd fret of the low E. But really the key is to get the those notes on the B string down. That. My guitar's a little out too at this point anyway. But if you're noticing, right, it's not like you need to make a C chord every time when you play that riff. You don't need to. It's just in the beginning where you really hear it, that A minor, G, riff. That's it, okay? And then you go bum, 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 into our verse, which is a B minor chord. So again, obviously, B minor is a bar chord. It's a lot too. Anyway, been playing this song way too much. Bending all the strings. So obviously this is our B minor chord, right? Where you got your index finger barring across the 2nd fret from the A string down, and then middle finger on the 3rd fret of B, pinky on the 4th fret of G, ring on the 4th fret of D, right? That's our B minor chord. But, to be honest, you can get away, again, it's all about efficiency, and especially when you gotta play that riff into it, right? That bum 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 bum. And so you say I've got, right? I play it like this. I'm avoiding the bar entirely because it's just so much easier. So to do this, and it's not really a cheat version. You've just you know, you've got all the right notes in B minor. You just aren't playing that low root. So to do this kind of quote unquote cheat version, you got your index finger on the 2nd fret of E, middle finger on the 3rd fret of B, pinky on the 4th fret of G, and ring on the 4th fret of D. So 4, 4, 3, 2. And you don't want to hear any of the other strings. You don't want to hear the A or the E, okay? So you say I've got a funny face, to A minor. And by the way, when he's playing this part, he is sort of doing these arpeggios with them. You can finger pick those, you can play them with a pick like I am, but there's sort of these soft arpeggios, and you want that sort of dynamic change. so it can really just rock when you get into the chorus. So we've got that. So you say I've got a funny face, back to B minor, makes me money, back to the A minor, and then he adds his pinky to the 3rd fret of the high E string, if you want to just spice it up a little bit. And then if you want to do the transition, this 3rd transition into the B minor once more, you'll hear it in the bass, and he doubles it too, this A string, 3rd fret of the low E, then into the, so you say I wasted my life away. So again, that. That's what you can do to get into that last part of the verse. That A, 3rd fret of low E, bum, bum, bum. So open, 1st fret, 2nd fret. So you say I've wasted my life away. Well, I got a beach home. Go back into that riff on the, while you're singing the well, I got a beach home up in Buffalo. So again, we've got basically the chords from the intro. I got a beach home up A minor to G in Buffalo, and then into the riff again. And a wristwatch, that's a compass and, sorry, I was trying to remember the lyrics. Back to the E minor. Wristwatch, that's a compass. You do a little walk up there. By walk up, I mean open, low E, then we're walking up into that G chord. So we've got the low E string. 0, 2, 3, like that, okay? Well, I've got a beach homed up in Buffalo, and a wristwatch that's a compass and a cell phone. C, that's it, a C chord. Personally, I feel like I'm really hearing, and you know, I could be crazy, I don't think so, but I'm really not hearing a full C chord. What he's really doing is he's got his ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, and he's using that same finger to mute the D string, and you want the G string open and then index on the 1st fret of the B string. And that's how you can play that C chord. Obviously, you can play like this too, but I think this kind of, you can just rock better. Sorry, I know that sounds lame, but anyway, it just rocks, man. I love it. And a wristwatch that tells me you're all alone. Back to the C chord, to a D chord, right? And then we're gonna walk down, take that middle finger and put it on the 3rd fret of A, then lift up that index, 2nd fret of A, and then into the riff. Just like that. So again, that D chord thing, that transitions back into the next verse, that then into the and I still take your amazing grace. Same chords. And I'd give all my money if I remember the lyrics. And then pinky. And then here you can do that transition. That little walk-up thing. And I still take your pretty face. But I got a houseboat docked at the Hambledon. So again, same chords. You're gonna do the riff. Well, I got a houseboat, E minor to A minor to G, and then you play the riff. And a wristwatch, that's a pocket knife. You do that walk up. And a wristwatch, that's a pocket knife. And a megaphone. And a wristwatch that tells me I'm on my own. And a wristwatch, E minor, walk up to G. A megaphone to C. Into the D chord. Now, if you're playing it by yourself, or if you see him do it solo, he just ends it here, after that walk down from the D chord, just with one more time of the... Alright? But, that's it. I mean, yeah, anyway, there's no but, that's it. If you want to get into that solo though, what he's doing is, he's bending in on the 14th fret of the high E, and you're bent already. You start bent and then you bring it down like that. And then you pull off to the 12th fret. 15, 12 on the B. To 13. So it's like all off of that sort of E minor pentatonic scale like that. And yeah, and then he also does this thing too, where he does a variation of it here. So that's 10, 8, 7 on the E string, and then on the G string, 7, 9, then 7, 9 again, then 8 on the E string, then 7, then 10 and 8 on the B string. So one more time. Like that. So much fun to play. And obviously I missed a couple of things in that solo there at the end. You gotta listen a couple times, play through it. You can figure it out, but you're really just sort of doing slight variations of the main riff. But again, if you're playing by yourself, you can just end it with a like that. All right. So much fun to play. Love this tune. It's really great if you're trying to work in the skills of riffs transitioning between chords with these riffs. It's a challenge. It's not, definitely doesn't come easily, but man, once you get it down, it is so much fun. But yeah, hope you like it. Let me know if you got any questions, and thanks so much for watching.